So we have a new kind of hostage drama, that moved from embassies to airplanes, and then the world learns the term skyjacking. Hi, I'm Matt Hasquin. I'm a high school history teacher, and we're going through Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire line by line. And in this one, we're going to Terror on the Airline. When Billy Joel sings Terror on the Airline, he's bringing attention to this grim trend that started in the late 60s through the 1980s. You had hijackings and bombings, and that they turned passenger jets into these places of high drama, right? So it began with skyjackings to Cuba in the late 1960s, often by lone actors that were seeking asylum, political asylum. The stakes rose in 1970 when the PFLP orchestrated multiple hijackings to Dawson's Field in Jordan. They blew up empty planes for cameras, and they used hostages for bargaining chips. The message was clear. An airliner could carry a political cause farther than any press release. Airports and airlines eventually adapted, but the pattern continued to evolve. In 1976, hijackers diverted an Air France jet to Entebbe, Uganda, and Israel's rescue raid freed most of the hostages and set a template for counter-terror operations. The 1980s brought a deadly mix of bombings and prolonged hijack standoffs, from TWA Flight 847 to the Lockerbie bombing in 1988. That kept the world glued to live coverage and forced governments to coordinate in new ways. Each incident pushed security and policy forward: metal detectors, X-ray screening, explosive detection, better cockpit doors, air marshals, international no concessions debates, and joint task forces. Airlines redesigned procedures, the passengers learned new rules, and the global map of risk and rescue and diplomacy shifted around airports. So why is this line in the song? Well, because Terror on the Airline captures the moment when civilian air travel became a battlefield. It reshaped how we fly and how states respond to political violence. And when we tie it back to the song, Terror on the Airline condenses hijackings and hostage diplomacy and rescue missions and the revolutions in airport security that defined the late Cold War headlines. The reason why it matters is, well, this line explains how technology and media and terror tactics all collided. It shows why a single cabin in a plane could force international negotiations, and how everyday security rituals, well, they're all born from crisis. If you enjoyed this episode, hey, thanks. I'm glad you did. I'm going to continue with the next topic. So we Terror on the Airline, and our next line after is Ayatollahs in Iran. Thanks for watching.